That's 25 degrees. I need to pick it up. It's really close. Could probably do one thing to improve it. Hang on. Yeah, let's try that. I moved him down a little bit. About 30. Looking for 33 and a half or something, so that'll work. Oh, I forgot to film all that. Good grief. Anyway, there it is right there. All right, you can't really see what's going on. I've got it hanging there. It wasn't quite the right angle, so I've got it toenailed at the top. I'm gonna go stick, it's lowered down now. I'm gonna go stick some 8-inch screws through the thinner part of the long point into the post behind it, and then we'll do that on both sides, and we can lower it the rest of the way down and put some real screws in it from both sides, and then eventually we'll back it up with lags. But once it's hanging there to my satisfaction, I'll put some knee braces under it. Temps for now, more permanent later. It's too long. Saw. Okay. So let's see if we can get a view of what it's going to look like coming together. Yep, nothing stopping me from putting these two purlins on right now. That's as braced as it's going to get for a while. That'll certainly hold it. I don't know what time it is, but I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I'll be back the next day. That's probably when we'll do that. And we'll put a few purlins on up top and start making some other decisions in a final roof wood order for the rest of the purlins. And then we can frame some walls while we wait for that. Okay, looking good. All right, it is kind of wild down here right now. I don't know, it's a little after 7. It is Friday. There's high winds expected by tomorrow morning. We're supposed to get, they were talking 3 to 5 inches of rain down here this weekend. It'll probably end up being an inch, I'm guessing. I don't know if it's all coming today or tomorrow or both, but the plan for today is I've got six purlins there, 620s. So I'm gonna put those in the back on those fake tails to wrap that back part up this morning while I got the crane up. And then I've got, that leaves me with 2 of them, which I can put here, but I gotta sheet this wall first. So we're gonna work on those first. We'll get a count for how many more I need to order. And then we'll sheet this top of this front wall so I can set that purlin there. I can't put the purlin up against it until the sheeting's on. So that's the plan for this morning. Then we're going to drop the crane. There's a couple of things I got to tinker with on it, and it's a good time to do it before a storm comes in. You got to stop operating it around 22 miles an hour wind, but you can't really put it down after 10 to 15 unless you're extremely careful and it's not getting more than that. It can stand there in weather vane in pretty severe high winds, over 60, I think 70 something was what I had read somewhere in it. But since I got to tinker with something anyway, I'm going to put it down as soon as I'm done with this morning stuff. It's really not too breezy right now to put it down, but you definitely don't want it any windier than this. It's most susceptible when you flip that one straight up, because it puts a whole nother wrench on it that it's not designed for. It when you got to lay that back to drop it, is the worst part. After that, it just kind of, it's not really in any danger. So that's what we're gonna do, and then we'll clean up a little bit and get out of here. I'll just try to film what I can in the wet. Oh, one more thing I just added to my list. My other goal was to get the beam work done today, and these two are webbing braces in these trusses, in the two main trusses. So I'll probably clean those up and get them measured and cut and see if I can get them installed. Those would be nice to set with the crane, but we'll see what the weather does, really. All right, these don't weigh much, so it's really not worth tripping the thing back and forth unless you take a couple with you at a time. So what I got is one set of 16-foot straps and then another set of 12s. And there's a couple things going on here that I probably should explain. You always put crown up on a beam, but there's another, they bend the other way too, so I guess it'd be a bow. When you're using them as a fascia or a purlin, you want to place the bow, the high part of the bow uphill, just like you want to put the crown up. You want the bow up so that as gravity kind of pushes it down, it hopefully goes straight and not past, especially on the gutter line one, so we don't have to straighten it too much when we go to sheet it. And then to keep track of that organization on these two, I put the shorter strap uphill, so as you know, conceivably as it comes down on the roof, it's not going to hit the roof as you're setting the one below it, and then you can just keep moving it back uphill. But it's getting pretty breezy here. We're going to see what happens. I'll just fly them to the back and set them up there. I really just got to put a screw or a nail in them and then let go and get back out here. We'll work between the gusts for a little bit here. Probably a little too far. Go back the other way. We'll go back there before we do anything else so we can see, because we got to get around those upper tails. So it can't come down straight. Just going to sit there while I grab some screws and a driver. right, I had planned to go set that in first, but I think I'll run those single just to get these back ones done. I'm gonna run up there and shove that over real quick, screw it down. I don't know if you can see it, but I gotta, before I screw that end in, I can pry that away to get those straps out. So I'm gonna unhook everything. I gotta clean my feet, go upstairs, and then I'll be back down to screw that one in. You know, I wonder, no, I can't quite reach that. I'll come back. All right, that side's done. I'm gonna go cut the other back two, single them. I'm gonna set them one at a time, probably the lower one first, and then I'm gonna use my little screw fixture shackle deals that I made instead of strapping that one. That wasn't worth the trouble. It wasn't that bad to get off, but it'd be easier if I didn't have to do it. It'll be especially easier because I'm gonna single them. Okay, that's in, all unhooked. Looks great. It's gonna be impressive looking before we even cover it up. All right, I had 230 inches, 230 and a quarter across the bottom. And I want this brace to go up at a 45. And I have a rafter at, so that's a 12 and, where's my line? 12 and 12, 12 and 12 pitch. And then over here I have this rafter, the inside corner of it, intersecting that at an 8 and 12, or 33 in some degrees. And so I need them to intersect and meet there. And what I did was I went looking for somebody in the comments is going to give me this calculation of how to make those converge, but I narrowed in on it, kind of cheating in just a couple equations. And what I've come up with is this distance here, since it rises the same as it runs, it's 92.1, and then you subtract that from there, that gives you 138 and change. So that divided by 12, so now it's feet, times 8 to give you rise and back up at 92 and an eighth. And so that's what I was doing. This point here doesn't matter, so that 138 times 138 and change times 1.202, which is that rafter, gave me 166, and you saw me put that mark there. So then the check for that is, since this is 92 inches a run, the factor for that is 1.414. So that comes up at 130 inches to that point. And so that's exactly what I measured, 130 and a quarter. So that's the center of this here, this web. So that's a 45 degrees bull nose on the center there. And then this is well, the inverse of that. I'm sure there's a calculation for that as well. I know from experience it's right at 512 or 22.5 degrees. So we'll physically lay that out before we cut it. But in any case, we'll have a little bit of leeway if it's not quite perfect, but it should fit really good. So we're gonna cut that next. I'm back for a second. Sorry, just misspoke. This is not a 512. The cut of an 812, the back cut of an 812 intersecting is about a 512. This angle here would be 45 degrees, which is this, minus this, which is 33. We'll call it a half degree. So that makes the difference. It's 12.5 degrees or 11.5 degrees or something like that. Whatever the difference is between the two is that angle there, cutting back that way. All right, I think I lost that last clip. The phone ran out of storage, but in any case, I came up a little off my mark, but I came down to check it, and measurement was right. And then once, it was just kind of close tolerance. Once it all screwed together, it's all correct. So that looks good. Let's do another one. Okay, we've got some top ones to do. I don't know what time it is. Maybe time for a snack. Put those little ones up in there. I gotta go make a pattern. I'm gonna do them a little different. I got a little bit extra wood, so I think I'm gonna throw in a extra piece. Get some screws for that. All right, looks like everything survived down here. Tarp's still on the crane where I need it to be. I guess there was some Saturday did get the high winds down here. There's some gusts up to 65. Blowing around, lots of rain. It was like a 3-inch weekend where I live, which is about 45 minutes from here, I guess. 1.5 inches Friday, an inch on Saturday, and then, well, maybe it was more than 2.5. Yeah, it was almost another inch on Sunday, I guess. So, in any case, a lot of rain. I know they got more down here. I don't have purlins yet. Those are probably coming tomorrow. But I am going to wrap up this plywood in the front here so I can get that going, and then I'm going to start on some of these gable end walls here. There's some windows up high in the corners. So I got a door there, so I'll work around. I'll use this scaffolding here and start in here and frame this wall probably first. Get some bones up anyway. And then I may or may not at that point try to lift this scaffold out as one piece and then move it spot to spot, which might be good before I really fill it in with purlins. Actually, I think that'd be a good idea. Probably do that back one and then move it out of there. And then that way when the purlins come, I can still work on the whole backside and use the scaffolding in here to my advantage. But this is all looking good. This is gonna be pretty cool. Okay, got that done. Move some scaffolding and then start framing some walls. I got to sort out some 2x6 here. It's kind of a mess, but we'll do that next. All right, we got our mark. Oh, you couldn't see any of that. The plumb bob right there. It's splitting the king studs. It's a double king stud because there's a hole down right there. So from there, we should be able to lay everything else out with measurements. All right, I got that all studded in. That section there is a stairwell. I think I'll scaffold that from the inside and then probably go move the scaffolding over here and start on these pieces. Oh yeah, there's a window and a window. I got to work those sizes out. That's why I'm not starting that one. I got to figure out where that king stud piece is over here. Okay, looking good. Not sure if I'm going to use this in the video or not, but I've been thinking about saving some quick math clips, making a video out of the simple math that I use to quickly work alone. What you saw me do here was measure these 4 lower ones, but then I added 2 just off of math, and so we have an 8 and 12 pitch here. Is the pitch. Make sure you can see that. Yeah. So we're 16 inches on center. 16 inches minus 12 is for 1 foot is 4 inches, and so that's 1.333 feet. So we take the pitch times the amount of feet we want, which is 1.333, which is, I know for a fact it comes up at, I think it's 10.644. So 0.625 is 5/8. That's really close. So for a couple of studs, I can just add 10 and 5/8. So on that 79, I went 89 and 5/8, and then for the next one I went 99, 100 and 1/4 for this one, and everything fit, and I should be able to throw my level on it. So anyway, Quick math. Okay, we got that window in. That's a 7-foot sill, 812 window, so it's 7 8-inch units, 56 tall there. I knew we were going to put some windows in there. I wasn't sure how big and how many, which is one of the reasons I went ahead and made these gable ends rafters all the way. I had originally just drawn a 12-foot 6x12 hanging out for the tail as a cantilever tied into the wall, and the rest of it was just plates going up. But it made a lot more sense just to connect the dots with these full rafters. A little bit more expense, but definitely made it easy to control the job. The reason the 7 foot is there is because down at that end in the stairwell, inside the wall is about 7 feet. I don't know if we're going to block that portion off, and I didn't want a chance putting an 8-footer in, which would come out over there. So this one sets the tone. There'll be one on the other side of the wall. All right, double checked my measurement up there. Everything checks out real nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and start framing this wall. All right, I gotta watch that. All right, I'm not sure if I say anything, but that's a windowsill and the window framing, below the window framing. Oh, we can get all this in the frame. All right, I was gonna frame the other one before I set the first one, set the crane up, but I really didn't want to pack the ladder over there twice or back and forth to lean it down under that beam. It's pretty heavy, so that's how we did it. And I'm gonna do that one next. I wanted to get these in before the roof purlins went on. They're coming next. We can do the backside ones, but makes it a little bit tougher to move everything around, so I'll do what I can. Not sure if I am going to build these pieces in sections and stand them up the same, or set up a plank and do them one at a time. I just don't know yet. This is all wall here, no more windows. That is, again, a window up high and then a door there with a window in it.